What's up everybody, we're back with another lethal review, and today we're taking a look at Rakuen, an adventure RPG by indie developer Laura Shigihara, aka Super Shiggy. I just want to give special thanks to Laura for sending me a copy of the game to review. It's much appreciated. I was first drawn to the game by the music and the story of the trailer. By all accounts, Rakuen looks like an emotionally charged RPG. Let's find out if Rakuen is worth the buy. Rakuen looks and plays like a lot of the older Super Nintendo RPGs. However, Rakuen is a rarity in the genre in that it's entirely non-combative. Fighting, upgrading weapons, and progressing in power are all really essential aspects to many RPGs today, and for that reason, Rakuen may not be a game for everyone. With that said, if you're someone who could put aside those things, Rakuen can be an satisfying emotional journey. The main gameplay element revolves around solving puzzles in order to reach a goal. The puzzles can range from simple things like looking for a specific item to complex dungeon-like experiences. Right from the beginning of the game, there are certain things in the environment that are gated and inaccessible until a specific tool is acquired. For example, these wooden doors can't be opened until you acquire an axe. This type of game design is very reminiscent of classical adventure RPGs. The same type of design philosophy is also used in how the game advances certain story arcs. From the beginning, you meet all the major characters and learn a little bit about who they are, and you're given hints regarding the requirements of further interaction. Oftentimes, those requirements can't be met until much later in the game, but when that time comes, you'll think back and know exactly what to do, and that's a great feeling to have. The overall goal of the game is to help resolve the problems of neighboring patients, and this is done by visiting a parallel universe, Morizora's Forest. In this world, there is a character that represents each of the patients at the hospital, and through them, you learn about their past, their problems, and you help try to solve them. There is a connection between the hospital of the real world and Morizora's Forest, and some of the puzzles require venturing between them. The actions in one world can affect the other, which made for an interesting puzzle mechanic. What stood out to me the most in Rakuen is the soundtrack. The music in this game is absolutely beautiful, and it breathes life into the game. Being a story-driven game that isn't voice acted, it can be somewhat hard to understand the emotions being conveyed, but the music and the scenes really direct the emotion of the characters and enhances the storytelling experience. In fact, music plays a very large role in the story. Without going into too much detail and possibly spoiling anything, I'll just say that I'm glad that the devs decided to make music such a big part of the game. Unsurprisingly, the story of Rakuen has a very melancholic overtone. But throughout your playthrough as the young boy, most of your adventures feel very positive and jubilant. This juxtaposition of bittersweetness is persistent throughout the entirety of the game, and it's a feeling that I quite enjoyed. The story is split into 5 sections, each revolving around a specific character, and the game really puts you into the shoes of each character, forcing you to empathize with them. And that creates a strong emotional connection between you as the player and the character. I have to admit that I felt that the story was lacking in the first half of the game, and I thought there were some really cheesy parts. However, the game redeems itself later on and delivers on the promise of an emotionally charged ride. There was a moment during the game where I actually cried. A big part of it was the music of the scene, which just pushed me over the edge. And I'm not saying Rakuen is a game that will 100% make you cry, but there just might be something there that will tug at your heartstrings. What holds back the game the most are some of its technical issues. The game has absolutely no options at all. You can't change the resolution, and you can't even adjust the volume. The game also utilizes 3 main menus: a journal, a map, and an inventory. But for some reason, the only way to access these is to press the escape key and go through the menus, when they could have easily just bound each to a key. While on the topic of issues I had with the game, the mother follows you throughout the entire journey, but that's all she really did. I believe the devs wanted to create a feeling that the journey was one that the two of them took together, and unfortunately I felt that they failed in that regard. There could have been more interactions and dialogue between the boy and the mother to really emphasize the bond that they were building, but throughout the majority of the game, all the mother really did was follow the boy around. And the last big issue I had with the game is that the currency you collect is effectively useless outside of maybe 2 instances where you're required to purchase an item. I wouldn't have had a problem with this if gold wasn't what you found in the majority of the chests. It really diminishes the feeling of being rewarded. Rakuen is a heartfelt journey that is emotionally and musically charged. Although it suffers from inconsistent writing and technical issues, its phenomenally well-composed soundtrack and empathetic stories of acceptance and closure earns it a rating of 8.0, and it is definitely worth the buy. It's not a surprise that I'm a big fan of the soundtrack, and I'll leave a link down below to the Bandcamp page where you can listen to some of the songs. I'll also leave a link to Laura's channel as well as the Steam page for the game. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you liked the video, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. If you didn't, let me know in the comments below on how I can improve. You can check out the previous review by clicking here, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.